Your walk revealed everything about you. I didn't need to see your face. I didn't need to talk to you. The fact that I had never seen you before changed nothing. I just watched those few steps and I read what you were carrying inside, what you felt about life, how much you believed in yourself, what you thought when you woke up in the morning, what you felt when you walked into a room, how you saw yourself. This is not intuition. This is not a feeling. This is not a guess. This is science. Hard, repeatable science based on decades of observation. And today I'm going to share that science with you, because everyone around you is already reading you this way, without your permission, without you being ready, without you even being aware, without you saying a single word. And the strangest, most unsettling part is this: they are not even aware of it either. The brain makes this assessment automatically, subconsciously, in an uncontrollable way, in an irreversible way. And it does it every day, in every room, in front of every new face. Harvey Cleckley wrote the most disturbing book in the history of psychiatry in 1941. Its name was The Mask of Sanity. Cleckley spent decades studying people, not just what they said, but how they carried themselves, not just their words, but their bodies, not just their expressions, but their movements, not just what they thought, but how they existed. He watched every patient, every visitor, every nurse, every doctor in the clinic, and he noticed that people had already evaluated each other, already made a decision, before speaking, before meeting, before asking names. And the conclusion he reached remains one of the cornerstones of psychiatric literature to this day. People can lie with words, but their bodies never lie. Walking is the unconscious output of the brain. You cannot control it. You cannot stage it, at least not for long. After a few minutes, the mask falls, and what is real seeps out, flows out, gives itself away. That unconscious output is being read even by someone who has never met you in the first 7 seconds. Irreversibly. And the impression formed in those first 7 seconds frames everything you say after that, everything you do, everything you present, everything you try to prove, everything you struggle to explain. The brain has made a decision. And that decision is much harder to change than you think. Now I need to ask you something. How did you walk when you entered a place today? Were your steps decisive, or did they seem to be apologizing? Were your shoulders hunched forward, as if collapsed inward under the weight of some invisible burden? Or were they pulled back? Were you standing tall, as if the world was opening up for you, not as if you were running for the world? Was your head held high, or were you looking at the ground, as if there was someone there you were apologizing to? What was the distance between your steps narrow, wide, confident, hesitant? What was your tempo, panicking, dragging, or just right? What was the rest of your body language? Were you trying to hide your hands, or had you left them natural? Nobody asked these things. Nobody said, "How did you walk today?" But everyone around you got the answer, without you realizing. Keep the answers to these questions in mind, because those answers directly determine how the people around you see you today, how they evaluate you, how much space they will give you, how seriously they will take you, how much they will trust you, how much they will listen to you before you say a single word, before you even say your name. The most disturbing truth that emerges from Cleckley's work is this: walking does not just reflect personality. Walking reflects the most fundamental, most profound, most personal decision a person has made about life. Am I here, and do I deserve this? Or I am here, but I hope nobody pays too much attention. Am I here, and do I fill the room? Or I am here, but I am trying to take up as little space as possible. Am I here, and is that enough? Or am I still waiting for permission to exist? These questions may sound philosophical, but their answers are reflected in your steps as millimeters. reflected in your shoulder angle degree by degree, reflected in your body weight gram by gram. And the human brain reads this difference before words, before facial expressions, before a handshake, before asking names, before forming a single sentence. Because it was not trained to read this reading was an evolutionary necessity. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, when our ancestors encountered a stranger, they had to make a decision in seconds: threat or ally, prey or predator. This decision was processed not in the language center, but in the amygdala. Fast, automatic, irreversible. And the amygdala is still asking the exact same question today, only now it does it in business meetings, on first dates, in corridors, in elevators, in cafes, in the first second of an interview, in the eyes of someone seeing you for the first time, all at once, in a flash. And it gets the answer mostly from your walk, not from your speech, not from your resume, not from your clothes, not from your achievements, not from your title, from your walk, from those few steps, from that shoulder angle, from that gaze direction. So what exactly did Cleckley see? Some of the patients he encountered in his clinic were extremely intelligent, extremely impressive, extremely persuasive. When they talked, they mesmerized people, made them laugh, persuaded them, left them in admiration. They seemed almost perfect. But there was something missing inside them. Something deep, real, consistent, permanent, rooted, authentic. And this void was most clearly visible in movement. There was a calculation in their walk, a performance, a mask. It was either excessively controlled or completely meaningless and empty. An inconsistent rhythm between when it was controlled and when it was empty. Cleckley called this emotional shallowness. When there is nothing real inside, nothing real is reflected outside. The body is the external expression of what is carried inside. Nothing more, nothing less. Exactly as much as what is inside. Exactly as much as you believe. Exactly as much value as you give yourself. Exactly as much as you are ready to carry. But he also noticed, and this is perhaps much more important, much more hopeful, much more transformative, and much more personal. The exact opposite is also possible, and much more common. People who carry deep resolve, deep acceptance, deep confidence inside reflected this in their walk, without learning it, without planning it, without consciously staging it, without effort. Spine straight. Step firm. Tempo neither panicking nor sluggish. Gaze not fleeing but not attacking either. Hands natural. Shoulders open but not strained. As if the world was opening up for them. They were not running for the world. As if their existence was already enough. They did not need to prove anything more. Before what these people said, before what they did, before what they wore, before what they earned, before what they achieved, the moment they entered a room, something was established. This is called a frame. And whoever sets the frame directs that conversation, directs that relationship, directs that room, directs the balance within that day, directs the reality of that moment. You can set the frame with your walk, without speaking, without introducing yourself, without proving, without negotiating, just by existing, just with those few steps. Now let's talk about 5 fundamental walking types. Listen to these not as a judgment, but as a mirror. Because when you see yourself in this mirror, what will your first reaction be? Defense or recognition? If you go on the defensive, that reaction also tells you something. If you recognize yourself, you are already halfway there. Are you ready? Because this part may make you uncomfortable. And when you feel uncomfortable, stop right in the middle of that discomfort. Don't run, because growth starts right there. First type, fast, leaning forward, almost running walk. These people are smart, productive, ambitious, they use their time efficiently. They have goals, they have lists, they have plans, they wake up early, they are never late. They accomplish a lot. But at the same time, they carry inside them a silent, chronic, endless, never completely silent, never completely subsiding anxiety. Their steps say, I have to catch up. Their bodies have already arrived at the next task while their mind is still processing the previous one. And after the next, there is another next. And when they catch up, instead of resting, they find a new goal. And that anxiety never completely ends. Cleckley described this profile as a personality trying to suppress an internal discomfort with movement. What these people most often fail to listen to is their own voice, what their own bodies are trying to tell them. And the people around them notice this without saying so, without asking, without explaining, without naming it. Spending time with this person feels energizing at first, but after a while it feels tiring. You cannot exactly pinpoint why, but you feel it. Second type, slow, heavy, dragging walk. This signals low energy and low motivation. It signals indifference to the rest of the world. But pay attention, and this is very important, but these people are most often actually deeply thinking, introverted, extremely sensitive individuals with an extremely rich inner world. There are deep things inside them. They have a lot to say, a lot they observe, a lot they feel. But the problem is this: the signal they send outward is indifference. And the world punishes indifference silently, decisively, and without hesitation, without giving opportunities, without inviting, without choosing, without promoting, without seeing. What is inside this person is never learned, because the world does not bother to look inside. The door appears to already be closed, and nobody spends time opening a closed door. Third type, rhythmic, balanced, consistent walk. This is the rarest and most powerful type. Steps are even. Tempo is steady. Neither rushing nor sluggish. Gaze focused, but not tense. Body neither occupying too much space nor too little. Neither using too much energy nor too little. As if exactly the energy needed is being used, not too much, not too little. This walk says one thing without words. I know where I am going and I will get there. I am not in a hurry, but I do not need to pause either. Everything is under control. Everything is in its place. Research repeatedly and consistently links this walking type directly to leadership perception, trustworthiness, social magnetism, sense of authority, capacity to inspire confidence, decision-making power. And most people who walk this way did not consciously learn it. They went to no course. They read no book about it. What they carried inside flowed outward in this form, spontaneously, inevitably. Fourth type, withdrawing, trying not to take up space, almost apologetically existing walk. Shoulders turned inward, steps kept narrow, head slightly tilted forward, body taking up as little space as possible, almost trying to merge with the wall. This walk says, without words, please don't see me. Please don't pay too much attention. Please don't expect too much. And people usually grant this wish not with respect, but by completely ignoring, completely passing over. No promotion comes, no invitation comes, no opportunity comes. No important conversation comes, no important assignment comes. Nobody actively decided to exclude you. Nobody sat in a meeting and said, let's skip this person. Your brain decided for you. This person stays in the background. This person is not important. Pass. Move on. Look at the next one. Fifth type. Exaggerated, performative, excessively self-conscious walk. Steps too wide, posture too straight, rhythm too calculated, body too tense, as if every step is being watched, as if constantly performing on stage, as if being evaluated at every moment. This is not confidence. We think this is confidence, but it is not. This is the most subtle, most sophisticated, most dangerous, most deceptive camouflage of insecurity. Cleckley describes this as the hardest to detect form of the mask, because the exterior looks polished, the interior looks solid, but the interior is hollow, and the brain detects this in seconds. Even if it cannot put it into words, it thinks something is not sticking. It feels something is not settling. And spending time with this person starts energetically but quickly becomes exhausting. You cannot exactly say why, but you feel it. Something is off. Something is distant. Something is hollow. Now comes the most critical question. And the answer to this question will be the most important thing I say here today. Can this be changed? The answer is both yes and no, but the no part will genuinely disturb you. You can consciously change your walk. You can open your shoulders, lift your head, stabilize your steps, adjust your tempo, focus your gaze, leave your hands natural. And these changes work in the short term. People notice. Their reactions change. Doors start to open. Opportunities begin to become visible. But Cleckley's sharpest, most ruthless, and most honest observation was this: if nothing has changed inside, the external change collapses within minutes, at most within a few hours. Performance exhausts, concentration scatters, the mask falls, and what is real surfaces again, because the body cannot lie. The body is the output of thought, the output of belief, the output of the story you carry inside, the output of what you tell yourself every day. So the real question is not this: how should I walk? The real question is this: what am I carrying inside? How much do I believe in myself? When I wake up in the morning, how do I look at myself? When I hear a criticism directed at me, is my first reaction defense or curiosity? When I fail, how do I treat myself? When I walk through the door, am I saying, "This room welcomes me," or am I saying, "I hope nobody pays too much attention. I hope nobody asks too many questions. I hope nobody expects too much from me"? Because the walk broadcasts the answer to that question with every step, every day, in every room. It is not whispering, it is broadcasting, it is shouting. With every step, in every room, in front of every new face, at the threshold of every opportunity, it is shouting. And the world, with every step, receives that broadcast, evaluates it, classifies it, archives it, treats you accordingly. The healthiest individuals Cleckley saw in his clinic were not perfect people. They did not have flawless pasts. They did not have bright faces or superior intelligence or impressive titles or great achievements. They had made mistakes in their lives. They had experienced pain. They had suffered losses. They had regrets. But they carried something inside, peace with themselves. Real, deep, fragile, but solid peace. They had seen their own shadows, faced their own darkness, accepted their own shortcomings, and they were no longer running from them, no longer trying to hide them, no longer trying to ignore them. And this peace was reflected in the body, reflected in the steps, reflected in the spine, reflected in the gaze, reflected in the voice, reflected in how the hands rested, reflected in how they entered a room. So if you want to change your walk truly, permanently, fundamentally from the roots, in a way that is not fake, you first have to ask this question: am I at peace with myself? Have I accepted my own shortcomings, my own limitations, my own darkness, my own mistakes, my own inadequacies, my own broken places? Am I trying to banish them from the stage, or am I walking with them, knowing them, carrying them, not despite them, but together with them? Because after that acceptance, things change. Small, but real things. After that acceptance, the body changes. After that acceptance, the steps change. After that acceptance, the room changes. After that acceptance, the world begins to look at you differently before you say a single word, before you even introduce yourself. The greatest and most lasting legacy Cleckley left behind is a single sentence. People feel you before they hear you. They watch you before they feel you. They see you before they watch you. And the moment they see you, they draw a conclusion from your walk, while you are not even aware of that conclusion, while you have not yet opened your mouth, while you have not yet started to explain who you are, while you have not yet introduced yourself, while you have not yet tried to prove your worth. If you want to be seen, truly and deeply seen, not just glanced at, but truly seen, first look at what you are carrying inside. First look at yourself in your own eyes. Because your walk is the sound of what is inside you, hitting the ground, and that sound is playing with every step. Can you hear it? Now, I am leaving you with a challenge. For the next 7 days, every time you enter a place, stop. Stop for just 1 second. Take one breath and consciously feel this. I am here. I deserve this. I am worth entering this room. I do not need anyone's approval to be here. Then walk. I am not asking you to do anything else. You do not need to be perfect. I am not expecting you to do this every day. Even once is enough. Just try once. And watch what changes not in others, but first in yourself. First in that breath. First in that step. First in that room. First in that gaze. Then watch. Really watch. Write this in the comments. Which walking type did you recognize in yourself first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or a mixture of these? Write honestly. No embellishment. You do not need to perform. Write not your ideal version, but your real version. Because the people here are not here to judge you. They are here to know you. And maybe that honest sentence you write will hold up a mirror to someone else. Maybe someone else's comment will shed light on something you could never see from your own angle. Maybe someone here will say, I was exactly like that, and here is what changed in me. And that single sentence, that single comment, will break something in your life, will open something, will start something. Here, people are getting to know each other, learning from each other, seeing each other, hearing each other, and that is a very, very rare thing. Protect that in the comments. Be honest with each other. Listen to each other. Learn from each other's experiences. Because sometimes the greatest transformation comes not from a video, but from a line in the comments. Subscribe to this channel. Not just to watch videos every week, a mirror like this will continue to be set up here. Every week a question, every week a truth. Every week we are here to shine a light into you, to show you what you do not want to see, but need to see, to make you uncomfortable, and to grow you through that discomfort. And maybe one day, when you walk through a door, you will notice your steps have changed. Nobody told you. Nobody forced you. Nobody enrolled you in a course. Nobody said, walk like this, stand like this, look like this. Something changed inside, something small, silent, fragile, but real, and the body announced it, silently, but clearly. That day, your walk will no longer apologize, will no longer hide, will no longer ask for permission, will no longer try to convince anyone, will no longer perform. It will simply exist, fully, completely, and without asking permission, and that will be more than enough.